there are actors who are funny and there are actors who are very good dramatic actors, and he just has that perfect blend. I can't think of anyone who is so good in both things. Like, you think of like all the great actors, someone like Tom Hanks, obviously like one of the best actors of his generation, and he's funny in Forrest Gump, but like, you know, he's never done stand-up comedy. He's not like Robin Williams started off as a stand-up comedian. He is a comedian in his blood. He's a comedian who happens to be a really, really good actor.
And like I was thinking about this the other day, like in terms of like other comedy actors, Jim Carrey like do act like super hyperactive, really funny, sort of crazy guy, but like I don't think he could do as well in terms of like the sort of the romantic drama type sort of work that Robin Williams can do.
Jim Carrey can tone down the silly, the goofiness, let's call it, when he has his serious moments, but he can never turn it off. Whereas Robin Williams can go full, he can go 100% serious, and obviously because he has a bunch of serious movies. Obviously, Good Will Hunting. I watched last night a 1 hour photo, which is where he plays like a psycho.
I remember watching Insomnia,
that's
many years ago. That's that's really creepy as well.
That was the first serious movie of his I watched, like back at the time it came out, and I remember being a bit traumatized by that. I was like, I don't like it.
I mean, but undoubtedly, like comedy is his domain.
Yeah, but and so this movie where you need to be funny, like it's because this movie is silly. It's like the robot part is like the first half. It is silly. You need to not take yourself too seriously. You need to be entertaining. You need to be silly. You need to make, because the script in the first half, I think it gets by because at the end of the day, he is a robot, so he is speaking robotically, and the fact that Robin Williams can take all of that and make it funny, like the fact that he can tell jokes in a monotone way and make them funny.
Oh man, the breakfast scene where he's like, "Can I tell you some jokes?" Yeah,
apparently like, he made all those up. Yeah, he ad-libbed them.
Yeah,
which is not entirely surprising.
Definitely, as a child, like the last joke about like a patient walks into a doctor's and the doctor said, "Oh, can I numb your breast?" And she goes, "Oh yeah, sure, num 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 num." As like a 7-year-old, I would have definitely flown over my head. Like, those are like those scenes where like they're just it's that like little bit of like stardust to a character, which many other actors couldn't really.
Yeah, and then I'm sure there are funny actors that could do all of this in the first half, but then you wouldn't take them seriously when it got serious. And especially the end, that 15 minutes of him like finding his humanity. And
can I say also, I mean, like we sort of touched upon like how it was nominated for like a makeup Oscar nominee. Robin Williams was about 48 at the time.
Yeah,
he looks like really good for 48.
I thought that. I think he's
like for a guy who like he had like cocaine addictions and like drug addictions, but like for 48 at the time, like he looks like super young, like really nice complexion, and like I especially scene where he carries his head on that's like he looks so like
he looks the age, like that should be the picture that sort of he's remembered at, because I think when you see him younger, you're a younger version of Robin Williams, but you sort of need to grow into yourself.
I also like how they sort of like an inside joke at the time, you know, when he's molding his face, he's like, "Oh, so what age do you want to be?" He's like, I'm actually like,
62. I think
how about we say like 42? And it's actually like 5 years less than he is in real life. It's like that sort of like fun, sort of meta sort of joke in it.
When you saw it as a kid, you'd obviously seen him in the other stuff, but I guess you weren't really aware of like the trajectory of his career. But the fact is, he was 2 years off Good Will Hunting, where he had finally won his Oscar after being nominated 3 times for Good Morning Vietnam, Dead Poet Society, and The Fisher King. So I think you can argue that 97, so Good Will Hunting, is the high point of his career. He's the funny man. He's had critical success. He's had box office success. And then he's sort of like he's not, you can tell when you look at his IMDb that he's not really sure what to do. And a movie like this, which combines the humor but also the drama, that's kind of the sweet spot that he was trying to kind of fit in. But this is one of the few movies where I think it actually combines those two. And if you just look at the rest of his IMDb, it's one or the other. He either takes these really dramatic roles like 1 Hour Photo, which is a good movie, but it's not fun and it's not remembered. It's just a very serious, dark role of him as like, it's almost like he has to be either the lovable funny man or he needs to be a psycho, like in Insomnia.
Yeah, and I think from like children, sort of young teen audience, I mean, like after like 2002 and onwards, like we only sort of really fun child movie I could think of was like Night at the Museum. Like
Yeah.
he plays
Roosevelt.
Theodore Roosevelt. I think that's like that was his last like.
He made
The movie was okay, but like his role in it was quite good, I thought. But
it was fine. Like those aren't good movies.
No,
You know, they're
fun.
fine for kids. They're a good way for the next generation to discover him, and I think they serve that purpose. But I did some stat crunching here.
Oh, nice,
I looked at his entire filmography on Rotten Tomatoes, and for his career, 34% of his movies were fresh, which I can't tell you what it is for other actors, but to me that's not a great score. Obviously, fresh is a high bar. Like, it needs to be 60 or more. But only 34 of his movies were. But before Bicentennial Man, we're not counting Bicentennial Man here, before his score was 46. So 46% of his movies before Bicentennial Man were fresh. And after Bicentennial Man, it's only 22%. Mm-hmm. So the only movies after Bicentennial Man, so between 1999 and 2014 when he passed away, the only fresh ones were Insomnia, 1 Hour Photo, and The World's Greatest Dad. Insomnia and 1 Hour Photo are these dark dramas where he plays like a serial killer, not serial killer, but like a psycho. And World's Greatest Dad I haven't seen, but I believe it's got a serious thing. It's about his son's died in it, but I do think it's got more of a comedy thing. But apart from that, it is just... It's either small roles. He did a bunch of voice stuff, like he was in the robots,
like Happy Feet,
which
I think that was relatively successful, isn't it? Yeah.
So I just think the Bicentennial Man is very interesting because it combines the drama and the comedy very well. And then after that, he sort of went one extreme or the other. So either very dramatic, which some success but not all, and then he just apparently he also then started running out of money because he was at the top of his game. He was twice divorced. He owed a lot of money in alimony. He's admitted that he started doing movies just for the money.
So what was Robin Williams' last big like box office hit in terms of like something which was considered like a success and not necessarily a flop? Like
I also didn't take into account movies where he wasn't like the main star or whatever. But honestly, like
as like the main focus,
Insomnia or 1 Hour Photo.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So it's pretty soon after Bicentennial.
That's it. And then he lived on for 15 years after this, and it was very much like circling the drain, and
sad.
It's very sad. So all of this, I think this context is important because coming on the back of Good Will Hunting and being one of the most famous people in the world, there was a lot of expectation for him, and I think that's one of the reasons why the movie did not do well critically, because at the time this wasn't seen as a great... It's not a great movie, and it wasn't seen as a great performance because he was actually nominated for a Razzie Award. He lost to Adam Sandler in Big Daddy, but which is actually super interesting because look at Adam Sandler now. Adam Sandler's on top of the world. He's one of the richest comedians. He's churning out
uncut gems. Like, oh my god, that's such a good film.
And he still makes crappy movies, but he's got a contract with Netflix, and it just makes you think. Obviously, Robin Williams was older. If he hadn't had his health problems and his very tragic passing, like maybe he would have had a resurgence in his career because that's the thing, he never found his niche. Like, and I'm not saying Bicentennial Man was it, but he never just found his type of movie that then he could keep making. Whereas that's the thing, Adam Sandler, he knows he can make his murder mystery movies, which are not good, but they do gangbuster numbers on Netflix. He can make his Uncut Gems or his I didn't love it, but Spaceman movie that came out recently, like dramatic roles. Actually, Adam Sandler is quite an interesting parallel to Robin Williams because he's actually a good dramatic actor, and he's obviously funny as like a silly man as well.
I mean, like Happy Gilmore is like one of those like really fun, goofy.
It's a different lane as Robin Williams, but it is similar to like some of the goofiness he did. But so I think that because he was in this confusing time of his career, the critics were like, nope, this isn't it, kind of try something else. And so it wasn't seen as a good performance then. And I can see, like, if I was a 25-year-old cinephile who had grown up with Robin Williams back then, obviously I wasn't, I was a child, but I can see how you watch this and be like, like just seeing it once and being like, nope, this isn't it, we expect more.
I think that's the thing, like, because Bicentennial Man has like such a special sort of part of my like movie life, I sort of get a bit sad like reading like the sort of the stories around the production. Like to me, I have like some of my own theories within the movie as to why it wasn't as popular as it is, but like I think one of the main factors was his relationship with Disney and how Disney handled like the marketing, and like I think they cut the budget a bit, or wanted to cut the budget a bit, and then
they
like,
didn't market it aggressively.
Yeah, and also like, did they market it more as like a comedy, where in fact, like we discussed, it's like a comedy drama, rom-com.
I mean, to be fair, it would be a really hard movie to market because it has so many different sides, and that is the difference between seeing a movie when it comes out and marketing it, and going back and watching it. And I do think, as we've said, you've used the term, and I agree. I think it is a hidden gem, and it is a real treat for someone who hasn't seen this movie to be able to go back and watch this movie and be like, yeah, it wasn't his best movie, but this is a really fun, interesting Robin Williams performance. If you haven't, go and listen to the full podcast to watch the full video, and also follow us everywhere.